This is the part where you fall down and bleed to death.
Oh no! How you guys doing? Cover Night Dreamer here. Thought I'd try something a little bit different. As you might well not have known, I used to be a gaming channel, and there's an awful lot of those running around nowadays. What we don't really have is just people sitting back talking, doing things, just having a little bit of fun, right? Well, so I thought, hey, why not just do a basic, simple, just chat? That's all this is going to be, just a simple chat. We're just going to sit back and talk, and I'm going to talk about some things. Give my 2 cents on things. And then later on, we're going to go on into telling some stories, and then talking about some of my favorite stuff. Feeling better about yourself through Global Domination, the Supervillain Hand Guide, which that's the one part I'm going to have a little bit of fun with. Alright, on to the current affairs. The news, shall we say. Alright. Anyway, currently in the news, what do we got going on? Let's see. Well, let's take a look at CBS All Access, or All Ass, as I like to call it. They had Sir Patrick Stewart come on his Instagram and say, we are going to give it away free until 4/23 with the code GIFT. And everybody was like, oh, this is really neat. Until they got in and started looking at it. And, well, it's exactly the same thing that they did when they first launched. It's just a free month. Because you still have to give them your credit card, and you still have to pick a payment plan. So it's technically not even a real free giveaway. It's just the typical same thing that they always do. You know, you get it like Hulu does it, and Netflix did it, and now CBS All Access is doing it. You give them your credit card, and they'll let you watch it free for a month. What's really going on is the fact that Star Trek P-Hard is, well, it's crap, is what it is. It's not Star Trek. It's junk. It's, in their own words, sheer fucking hubris. It's what it is. They're, Alex Kurtzman decided to take a few choice words and write an episode around it instead of having an actual idea. And then, Ichev, which, we all knew from Voyager, they killed him off in the first 45 seconds. Brutally killed him off, mind you, within the first 45 seconds of one of the episodes. And, they show the whole thing where they literally rip his eyeball out. This is Star Trek, mind you. Every single episode, one of the females in the episode has to berate and belittle Picard, and he stands there either with his hands behind his back, with his looking down, or his hand in front of his groin, and he's looking down, and they're always berating and belittling him. And then you've got Romulegalos, or Eleanor, or whatever his name is. He was raised by this group of Romulan women. They call him Lady Boy, and I guarantee, as Gary from Neurotic pointed out, that they basically pointed to that name and said, okay, write a name about write an episode around the name Lady Boy. And that's exactly what they did. That's what they did, and they just turned it into a complete and total garbage. Well, the reason now they're pushing everyone to go see, Star Trek Picard, is the fact that they can't get the season 2 greenlit. Okay? That's what they're trying to do. They're pushing this off as, it's a free gift. Go watch it for free. But you still have to go put in your credit card and pick a payment plan. It's not really free. They're just trying to up the viewers to get season 2 greenlit. If they can't get season 2 greenlit, then there's really no point in them to continue on, and they're already pushing it on to the quote unquote fans. But the thing is the fans of the show are the same fans of Star Trek Discovery, or whatever the heck it is, which that's another thing. Did no one in these meetings ever really point out the fact that the acronym for Star Trek Discovery is STD? I mean, seriously, that entire show, the entire premise of that show, if you actually take a look at it, is somebody watched like half a season of As the World Turns and the last 2 Avengers movies and decided, hey, let's make a television series out of it. And that's what it is. Because it's, they're cussing, screaming, yelling, jumping around. One of the ladies literally gets in an Iron Man suit knockoff. And I wish I was kidding. It's about as exciting as nailing your foot into the ground and running in circles. It wasn't fun at all. And Picard is just about the same. It's just dumb. They spent the first 3 episodes yelling about how we've got to go get to this guy. We got to go, and then like the 4th episode, they gotta stop and go get Romulegalos and Picard's, because Picard's got to go see this kid, and they got to do this backstory about how he feels sorry because he left him there. But it's just, it's like they went to DeviantArt and picked some like really obscure fan fiction and decided to make it into a Star Trek series. And it's really bad. And I mean really, really bad. And now it's proven that they at first said that that Picard was not going to be part of Discovery, but now it is part of the Discovery. And then Kurtzman was trying to get Section 31 greenlit, but they can't get it greenlit because for some oddball reason, that's the series he wants. Is he wants to make this like super secret, like think Warehouse 13 type Star Trek series, and they want it, but they're tying both of them into this Section 31 to try and force them to greenlight this series, but the backers don't want to do it because the two Star Trek series are literally pandering to a group of people that aren't watching the show, and the old group have stopped watching it because it's boring, it's annoying. There's in Picard, a group of people have literally kept a running tally of the number of people that they have been killing, and it's upward in the 40s and 50s. They killed Hugh. They killed Hugh off for no reason, and just did he die epically? No. It's just, oh, you gotta die, boom. That's it. Done. It's literally Orange Man bad in space too. It's what it is. And it's just dumb. Anyway, moving on. Another television series, Westworld. Oh boy, it's in season 4 now. Season 1, season 2 were good. Season 3 kind of went, eh. Season 4 has gone off the deep end, and what's really funny about it is, despite the fact that we are now a completely now captive audience, they are losing ratings. How bad can you be that you are literally losing ratings to a quite literal captive audience? Oi. Another thing. Speaking of these streaming services. The Hollywood streaming services are just having an absolute conniption fit because they are literally wanting government agencies to step in and limit the bandwidth of gamers, of all these games the gamers are playing, because they are quote unquote using up too much of the bandwidth for people to be able to watch their shows. And to and because the government agency went, yeah, right, whatever, not going to happen. They have literally cut back their quality by 25%. So if you've seen a downgrade in your signal quality, that's why. It's stupid, but I mean, I can kind of understand. This stuff has not exactly been designed around having this many people on and going all at one time. But they should have had something planned, at least. But, hey, neither here nor there. Oh, yeah, on to the latest and greatest things. Other fun things in the indie world of things. As far as television series goes, The Mandalorian, really good show. Really, really good show, actually. I actually did enjoy it. Baby Yoda aside and all the other stuff beside that, it was actually pretty enjoyable. In a rating of about, I would give it about a 7 of a 1 out of 1 to 10. I'd give it about a 7. It was enjoyable. In season 2, they have cast Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. For those not in the know, Ahsoka Tano is the trainee, for lack of a better term, for those who don't know, of Anakin, who later became Darth Vader. Okay? This takes place, the Mandalorian takes place like 26 years after Return of the Jedi. So this takes place way after the redemption of Anakin. So, but Rosario Dawson has been cast to play Ahsoka. Now, there were rumors that Brat Larson was going to be playing her, and I'm glad she's not. I really don't like her as an actress or as an individual. Yeah. But she wants to be in Star Wars, but I don't see her actually being in a Star Wars television series. She's too much of a hoity-toity brat to quote-unquote lower herself to a television series. She wants to be in a movie. She wants to be in the movies. And I could see them, wanting to try and cast her in like one of if they decided to make a movie out of like the High Council series, which I could totally see them doing, or any of the other things that they've got planned later on down the road, which they've got stuff planned. I could see that happening. But there's a big controversy right now around Rosario Dawson being cast as Ahsoka, and it's not because of her quality as an actress. I actually think she's a pretty good actor, and I think she would bring a certain aspect to the role. Not only that, she actually kind of looks the part. Kevin Smith, who is not only an avid Star Wars fan, but also the president of the Star Wars fan club, has gone on record saying that he approves of her coming in, and despite his political leanings and everything like that, I do believe he knows a thing or two about Star Wars. Well, the biggest thing about her being appointed is the fact that she's dating a congressperson. She's a huge proponent for LGBT rights. She's a huge SJW, but she got into a supposed physical altercation with a trans person, and now apparently because there's a civil argument, because she's in that civil argument, she now hates all trans people. I don't know what kind of mental gymnastics you have to do to pull that out of your ass, but that's what's going on. That's the whole reason. That's the whole thing. That's the whole reason behind everybody in the entire Lucasfilm family trying to get her recast and pulled out, despite the fact that she fits their entire criteria for what they want hired. But no. It's because she had a supposed altercation with one single individual trans person. One individual person. She now apparently hates all trans people. And it's nuts. I don't know. That's just one of those. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I say we give her a shot. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with the next season because it was actually pretty good. Let's see. Now let's see what else is going on here. Oh yeah, a Missouri man, the Missouri man who he was caught licking, who video himself. He allegedly made a video of himself licking items. Allegedly, it's a viral video all over. Licking items at a Walmart. He's a 26-year-old Missouri man, has been arrested. Okay? He did this as an attempt to mock the coronavirus. Okay? He has been charged with making a terrorist threat in the second degree, which that right there can be up to, if convicted of it, that's a 5 years in jail. He could go to jail for 5 years. That's not counting any fines or anything like that. The court documents stated that one Cody Lee Pfister, that's his name, knowingly caused a false belief or fear that a condition involving danger to life existed, and that he acted with reckless disregard of the risk causing the evacuation, quarantine, or closure of any portion of Walmart. See, he was taken into custody this week. And let's see here. The sheriff's department wrote, "It was frustrating that we have to waste valuable resources on calls like this during these times." They don't believe. They said it is unclear if he has exhibited any symptoms related to this particular illness, or whether he has been tested for it. But that's, the thing, he's also, he has previous convictions for burglary, theft of a firearm, drug possession, and driving while intoxicated. So he's got kind of a history of bad decisions. And this is just another long list of idiotic things that people are doing. There's actually groups of individuals in Europe running around as a, quote, prank, coughing on people during this time. They're running around coughing on people. It's just a prank, bro. There's a limit. Now, and speaking of that, TikTok personality Lars, who earlier this week was running around doing that coronavirus challenge, went around licking a toilet seat, has stated that he supposedly has tested positive and is in the hospital with the virus. Of course, now taxing the already taxed healthcare system. Now, he has been known to make things up, so are we taking it at face value? But either way, whether he's making it up or not, he should, I personally think he should have to face a hefty fine. It's my own personal opinion, but he went out and did this to himself. This is something he did to himself and is taxing an already taxed healthcare system. And we don't need that right now. There's already enough stuff going on. I mean, we've got, the last thing we need is these internet personalities doing this junk. It's bad enough that we have celebrities, known celebrities, losing their mind on an almost daily basis now. We have ones like Idris Elba and Oprah literally saying that humanity is an infection and that this virus is on this planet now to teach us a lesson. And it's like, what? And you've got Madonna losing her mind, doing whatever she's doing. I mean, she's worth over $500 million. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. She can whine about being bored all she wants. You've got this, I don't know who he is, but there was one celebrity literally whining about being bored and stuck in his $12 million mansion. The horror. Oh no. The absolute horror. I am almost bedridden daily. There's not much I can do. And he's complaining about being in a $12 million mansion? Really? Duh. Dumbasses. Anyway. So we've got that going on. Let's see. We do have some other celebrities out there doing some really fun things, though. That was really nice. Like you had Steve Martin. He did he played the banjo, and then you had who was it? He was the gentleman in. His name just went. My mind went blank on his name. He was the gentleman in Silence of the Lambs. You probably know who he is. He sat there and played piano for his cat. It was beautiful. It really was. It was really sweet. You have so many of these other really good celebrities who are they're getting on and they're doing these wonderful things. And like you have minor celebrities, like television celebrities, that are doing things like Alton Brown. I'm not sure if you know of him, but he's really fun. I love him. He's from Good Eats and from Iron Chef America, and then he did America's Worst Cooks. He does, like every other day, he and his wife get on for half hour, 45 minutes, and they do a cooking from home thing where they make their dinner and they kind of talk and check in on everybody, that type of thing. And one of the Mythbusters, Adam Savage, he does on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He now does a podcast for about 2 hours where he gets on and he builds something and just kind of talks about his day and talks about stuff and kind of talks about what it was like in the movie business a long time ago, and it's just a lot of fun type of stuff. You have a lot of these guys doing stuff like that and actually trying to entertain. You actually find these, right now, believe it or not, streamers and podcasters and stuff like that are actually more entertaining than Hollywood. And they're finding that out and they're mad. And, for the first time ever this week, box office reported zero. Nada. They made nothing. Since the inception of the box office, this is the first time that's ever happened. So, they're scared. They're really scared. And, that's... I can understand why they're scared, but now you see them doing silly things like they've pushed back Wonder Woman 84 till after the quarantine. It's like August, because they made it for the big screen. They've done it to. They've pushed back like 2 or 3 of these big movies like that. Like Black Widow. I know a bunch of people who are really not happy that they've pushed back Black Widow. We're hoping that they will decide to put it out on streaming service or something like that, even if it's at a premium price. I know a bunch of people who would pay the premium price to watch it because they want to watch it. Even, they don't care about that whole, it was made for the big screen. Well, whoop-de-doo. People have big screen TVs. They're going to have big screen TVs after the big screen movie. You just want that big box office number. That's what you want. And, here's the other thing. Do you really honestly think you're going to get those big numbers after all of this? Do you really honestly think people are going to be jumping up and down to go out to the movies after all of this? Yeah, let's all go jump and get into the middle of a big room with a bunch of other people. I know for a fact there's a lot of people who aren't going to do that. I talk to a bunch of people every day who don't want to do that now. And here's the other thing. About half of the money that you make from movies comes from China. Let me ask you, do you really see them going to the movies after all of this? Not really. It's time to reevaluate some things. We might want to rethink some of this stuff. It may be time to rethink this whole, on-demand stuff. Because I know Bloodshot's going to streaming. They said, okay, we're going to forget going to the movies. We're just going to put it on streaming. Let you guys watch it that way. Why not? There's a bunch of movies that have started doing that. Like, I know like 2 or 3 of them are planning on that. I don't know exactly which ones off the top of my head just now, but I know 2 or 3 of them are actually planning on going directly to streaming, just because they're going to be able to make money doing that. You know, but we are actually we're slowly starting to come back from all this stuff, and people are starting to come back from the panic, which I'm glad. But we're also starting to see a lot of people that freaked out, are really upset because all that stuff that they bought, they can't return. There's a lot of animosity right now because a lot of these stores are telling them, yeah, all that food and stuff that you bought, you can't bring it back. We're not going to let you. Sorry. Not going to happen. Toilet paper, can't bring it back. Obvious reasons. Sorry. Yeah, hand sanitizer, stuff like that. Amazon is not going to be taking refunds, returns, any of that stuff for any of it. The other day I just saw a thing where somebody was in I believe it was a Kroger. They got into an argument because they were not allowed to purchase over 500 cans of Mountain Dew. Now, I don't know about you. Now, I like a Mountain Dew occasionally. Okay? Occasionally. Even back when I was younger and we were gaming all the time, slamming 2 or 3 of those things and we were wired. Why would you need over 500 of them? And it was a husband and a wife. That was it. Granted, they weren't exactly small people, but they weren't exactly, T-Rexes either. It was just like, why do you need that much? That's just, why? And they were upset about it. They were throwing a conniption fit because the people, the store owners, the management was literally saying, no, you cannot buy that much. There is a limit amount because of regulations. You can only purchase a certain amount. We can't sell you that many. And they were having a conniption fit. It's like, what in the world? I mean, these people will eat each other. These people will eat each other. These so-called civilized humans will eat each other over the most trivial things just because they might be inconvenienced. And that's the thing, might be inconvenienced. Now, granted, this virus, there's a lot of stuff that was amped up about it. It was extremely amped up. And there was a lot of things that could have been done to be better prepared for it, But there was a whole lot of overreacting. There was a lot of overreacting and a lot of underreacting on every side. And it's just now to the point of being utterly ridiculous. And now we're to the point of people are going to be suffering. We've got schools closed. I've got two kids I'm trying to deal with getting them their education taken care of, their educational needs taken care of while their schools are closed. And their schools don't know what to do. And it's not their fault because they can't get answers from the higher ups either. Nobody knows what's going on. It's like, it's frustrating. Is what it is. It's frustrating. You know? And then you've got this, stimulus package that they dropped on us. And literally the only thing it stimulated was my gag reflex. Literally. That's all it stimulated. It was just ridiculous. It's like, why are we giving money to cruise lines? They don't even run under the American flag. They don't. They run out of America, but they don't run under the American flag. Why are we giving them money? Why did we give corporations $500 billion? Why did we give the medical field $130 billion? The medical field, the ones, quote unquote, facing the crisis? Makes no sense to me. Then they were talking about, okay, this whole stimulus, you get a one-time stimulus thing. It's barely enough to maybe pay the rent. Maybe. Depending upon where you live. Maybe. And that's about it. Because it did not freeze the mortgage payments like they said they were going to do. It did not freeze student loans. It did not stop the utilities. It didn't do any of the stuff that they said they were going to do during the time of crisis. So all of that still has to be paid, and half the workforce is out of a job. What they did do is they did bump up the unemployment from 3 months to 4 months, and then you do get more per week. But once that dries up, then what? Because the stuff's not going to recover overnight. It's just not. They think that this stuff's just going to go back to, okay, everything's hunky-dory. It's not. And what if we're in this? Their quarantine pamphlet literally says, "Do not go to work unless you are in essential services." What if this lasts longer than a month? They literally have police officers in certain towns driving up and down the roads telling people not to come out of their houses. They have the National Guard in certain cities in tanks. This is... something's up. I don't know. I'm just hoping they figure something out. They better figure something out soon, because if they don't, here within the next couple of months, they're going to have the citizens of their fair country eating each other. And I mean literally. People are going to get desperate. People are going to start doing some really depraved things to survive. And this trickle down nonsense that they're doing, if we give money to, if we give more money to rich people, they'll give it to poor people, is what they're doing. It's dumb. It's been dumb forever. And it's only going to last for so long. And if they don't get this stuff fixed, yeah. Anyway, enough of that. That's just boring. Now, on to the next thing that I wanted to talk about. Marvel freaking Comics. Marvel Comics. I love comics, have been loving comics for most of my life. I love Marvel and I love DC. I love them both equally because I love characters from both sides. Now, you have got some individuals who work for these sides, mainly the ones who have been in the news recently and been all over Twitter, mainly, has been the ones in Marvel. Because, of course, because Marvel has turned into a giant social justice warrior orgy. And I wish I was kidding. Basically, one of the head honchos of the guy, people in Marvel decided to come up with these new warriors. Okay, that's what they thought they needed. The world needed new warriors to take on the new issues. Okay, all right, that's fine. Whatever. Well, they've done it before. That's fine. So they came up with one of the characters' name, Trailblazer, who is an overweight version of Dora the Explorer. And I wish I was kidding. Her special power is she's out her backpack. She can pull just about anything out of her backpack. And she's overweight. That's it. That's literally it. Her name is Trailblazer. Explorer, Trailblazer. Do you see a pattern there? As I do. The other kid, basically his superpower is he can Google things. He was exposed to, and I wish I was kidding here, his grandfather's internet gas. I wish I was kidding. And basically his mind is hooked up to the internet and he can super quickly look up things on the internet. And he really likes memeing. He's a memeing edgelord. Who can look, his main power is looking stuff up on Google. That's his power. One of the other ones, His name is B negative. He's imagine every goth dude from the late 90s. Okay? Like really skinny goth dude from the late 90s. All right? And you've got B negative. Basically, he's a goth dude who got exposed to Morbius's blood. That's literally it. He is an emo goth vampire. Literally. The last two are just cringe. That's the best way I could put it. The last two are literally cringe. They are literally Snowflake and Safe Space. They're psychic twins. Safe Space can make pink safe spaces for everyone but himself. And Snowflake makes snowflake shurikens. And I believe Snowflake is the first non-binary gendered superhero. Now, I have non-binary gendered friends on the internet. Whatever. They hate this thing. They hate it. They consider it pandering and completely and totally tone deaf. It's ridiculous. Marvel has just started doing some really ridiculous stuff. Like in a recent issue of Immortal Hulk number 32, Dr. Charlene McGowan explains that she is transgender. Okay. McGowan, it's a relatively new character to a Hulk canon. And she was introduced in Immortal Hulk number 6. And she's working for General 14 and Dr. Clive at Shadow Base, and is overseeing experiments on Delphi and a former collegiate football star who, at the wishes of his father, ingested an experimental gamma radiation serum. The serum would kill Fry, but 14 and Shadow Base would unearth his body and begin experimenting on him. Basically, Dr. McGowan figures out that Zimnu has planted false memories into the entire populace of Earth, making them believe that he is a hero. So it's just, they're just making up stuff. Just basically to pander to people. You know, it's just like, understand representation. You know, understand. You know, yeah, having representation is fine. You know, you need to have representation in media. I understand this. I'm not tone deaf to that, but you know, you don't need to have it in every single issue. And on top of that, it doesn't need to be sledgehammered in. You know, it. You know. You know. Whatever happened to focusing on quality and giving people what they actually wanted? Pandering and political correctness is going to be the death of Marvel Comics. It's already started. It's already started. One of the main comic book distributors for the entire northern hemisphere has gone out of business. That's the comic book stores are going the way of the dodo. You're not going to see them anymore because they're disappearing. They're disappearing almost daily now. You know, and it's their own fault. They're saying we're going to go digital. We're going digital. We're going digital. Even after going digital, they're not going to get. It's not going to matter because nobody's going to be reading it because the people who they're pandering to don't read comic books. They don't want to read the comic books because even the people that they say, okay, well, we're going to make a character for you, they're like, this is a tone deaf character. This is garbage. Now, all right, and the final bit, on a little bit of a lighter note, and we all know that PETA is insane. We all know this. We all know that PETA is nuts. Well, they have decided that they want to get the new Animal Crossing game banned and canceled because it is, quote, unethical. You know, they're basically saying they want, you know, if you want, it's unethical. You need to live the vegan lifestyle inside the game. All this other stuff. They want you to, you know, and if you don't, blah 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 blah, all this other stuff. They basically want this whole thing completely and totally canceled. It's just dumb. It's just completely and totally dumb. And some of the stuff that that's been putting out in here recently in this world is just ridiculous, and all we can really do is just sit back and laugh at it. And that's just what I'm gonna do for today. All right, enough of my 2 cents on that. Okay. Now, we all have lots of things that we like to do for fun. One of the things I used to do and still do occasionally with my friends is play games. Now I'm not talking video games. Now, that granted, that's two. We play video games together. We play. We have played World of Warcraft together. We have played. Oh, shoot. Countless games together. We played the Fallout 76. Man, that was that horrible, horrible thing. We played the Dungeons and Dragons game. We played just about every RPG you could possibly come up with that was an online version we've played. But still, we always came back to just us sitting around goofing off, sitting around the table just goofing off, making stuff up, having fun. That was our fun. That was what we enjoyed doing. We all had many, many adventures together. Some were really fun. Some not so fun. Some were really dark. And some were really tender. Well, I thought it'd be kind of fun to share some of those adventures with you guys. And share some of those really, really wacky characters. So I came up with story time. So during these little casts that I'm going to do, I'm going to tell stories. You know, some of them are going to be certain characters. Some are going to be just stuff that I'm going to make up on the spot. You know, it's just depends upon how I feel that day, honestly. Now, the characters that I'm going to be using, I do have the permission of the characters, for the most part. You know, there's a couple that I haven't quite asked yet, so I'm not going to be including them until I can talk to their respected owners. Once I can get permission to include them, I will include them into the stories, and then they'll be added in. But that's something that you don't see anymore. You don't see people telling stories on here. You know, that used to be the big thing. People used to sit and tell stories around fireplaces, around the fires at night. You know, that used to be a treasured, an honored position. You would hear it in Native American African, ancient Viking, all of these ancient cultures, even the ancient Chinese, you would hear of these, what they would call fire tenders. It was a person, and there was no. It, neither both the genders were allowed to do it. It didn't matter. It was a person who their whole job was to sit and tell stories. They tell the stories of, sometimes it's the stories of the tribe, sometimes it's the morals and history of the world, and sometimes it's just, to entertain. And we don't see that anymore. We don't see the entertaining through stories. We used to, a long time ago. That was something that happened a lot. During the days of radio, that's all people had was their voice. You didn't have the moving pictures. You had radio, you had radio plays. That's what they were called. I mean, if you wanted to go out and see a live person, you literally had to go out and see a live person perform a play. And the thing is those were never the same day to day. They could be different because, different things could happen. A prop could fail, or, a line could be flubbed, something like that. So things could be different from day to day. It's not the same as with going to a movie, because the movies they're so scripted, and they go through so much to make it absolutely perfect. But we never have that anymore. So I thought I'd try and bring that back. And so I thought I'd try and do that with story time. And so there's a few things I will warn you. This is not meant for anyone under the age of 13. Okay? This is not meant for children. These stories they're not lovey-dovey. Okay? So, if you're squeamish, you might not want to listen to it. And there will be some language, and there's going to be some magic in them. So if you have an issue with the usage of magic, I don't know what to tell you. In the age of Harry Potter, you might want to just, I don't know. Anyway. So. Here we go. The smell of copper. It's one of those smells you never forget. Hangs in your nose. Dances on your tongue. If you ever licked a penny, you know what I mean. You can't get it off your tongue. You can't get it out of your nose. On that day, that's all I could smell. It's all I could feel. Everything was starting to get cold. It was dark. The battle had long ended. Which side had won? Who cared? All that mattered was it was over. It was over. In more ways than one, if you really think about it. Here I am, middle-aged. Nothing to show for it. I joined the military when I was young. Why? Because I believed in my country, right? I wanted to go out and prove that I was a manly man, as my father told me. If he could see me now, lying in a pool of my own guts. What the hell did I do this for? Well, it's not going to be much longer now. Can't hear anything. Well, do I regret anything? Sure. I mean, who doesn't have regrets? Would I do it again? No, probably not. Oh well. At least it's all over, right? That was the last thoughts that he thought, right? That's all he thought as he drifted away. Or so he thought, right? Drifting through the heavens. Star after star. Light after light. What's that smell? Dirt. Depth. Mud. What? I'm alive? Ugh. Where am I? Looks around and it's dark. Night must have fallen. That must be it. What's going on? My head hurts. goes to move. Pain racked through his entire body. Sensation like being electrified. Ow. Ugh. He starts to feel around. Feels another body close to him. A leg. Feels up. Finds the chest. Reaches into the breast pocket. Sure enough, it's a lighter. Flicks open the lighter. Lights it. That yellow-orange flame emits that low light. He starts to look around. He's not on the battlefield. The man beside him is human, but the one immediately to his right is rather short. There's a long beard. He's got a very big shield. Why is he wearing all that metal? Ow. What happened? Where? What? What's going on? He starts looking around, and he notices that he's not in his military uniform. He's in linen pants. He's got gashes all up and down his legs. The pants are ripped. He's got a linen shirt on with a huge, it looks like a claw mark across his belly. It looks like he's got bruises and marks all up and down his arm. If he didn't know better, it looked like he had been hung by his arm. For a while. Reminiscent, it reminded him of things he'd seen, ancient images he'd seen of old prisoners being held aloft and tortured. His mouth is dry. His throat feels so scratchy. His head, it's pounding. It's just a solid headache. Doesn't know what's going on. Yeah. Yep. Just 1 second. Got a little bit of a technical difficulty here. Alrighty, we're back. His throat's dry, scratchy. He's looking around. There's a pool of what looks like muddy water. He drags himself over to it. Trick he used to learn during his forces days. Just ease his hand down in there. Just lets the water trickle up a little bit. Gets enough. Just enough. Moistens his lips. He knows he can't stay there. Looks around. Looks like there is an exit. He checks the two people that are there with him. They're both dead. He checks for weapons. Beyond the shield that the small one has, they don't have anything remotely weapon-like. The armor's too small. He can't wear it. Never mind. You know. So he just grabs the helmet. He figures he might as well cover his head. Puts the helmet on. He tries to get up. Looks like one leg is not exactly working correctly, but he can kind of make it work. So he takes the light and starts hobbling his way down the hallway, leaning up against the wall. The more he moves around, the more his body aches. Complains with every single step. Every step that he takes, his feet hurt, his legs hurt. But he keeps going. It's part of being trained the way he was. The training just takes over. You just keep moving. You don't stop. He's got to get out, find where he's at, figure out what's going on, and regroup with his platoon. Find out what is going on, what happened, why he's in this cave. The fresh smell of grass greets him. Wind. He knows that smell. After the stink of battle, the mud, it's one of the greatest smells he's ever had. He makes his way out. The sight that greets him, though, is one that he never would have imagined. A very vast, lush forest. As far as the eye could see. Clear skies. There hasn't been clear skies in forever. Stars. Stars he's never seen before. Where is he? He smells fresh water. He hears running water. He starts making his way that way. He's thirsty. Since he doesn't have a wall to lean against, he just has to slowly make his way. Not really thinking about being quiet. Though, being in a forest, an unknown forest at that, probably not the greatest of ideas. When one is thirsty, one tends to be irrational. Finally comes to a stream. Takes the helmet off, rinses it out, uses the helmet to capture water and drinks his fill. He's sitting there, washes his wounds on his legs, washes the wound on his belly. The cold water actually feels good. And then he takes the water and washes his head, his hair, rinses the water off of his face. When was the last time he could do that? Weeks? Months? You know, you're fighting a war. A bath is a luxury, right? Well, enough lollygagging. I suppose I should get out of here. I figure I should probably follow the stream. That'll lead me to a town, if anything. So, gets up, kind of walks a little bit around. His body still hurts, but a little bit of water in him and he's starting to feel a little better. He was dehydrated. Starts slowly making his way upstream. Walking for a while. Doesn't hear anything you would normally hear in a forest. Where's the normal noises? He just hears crickets. This is odd. Well, he walks for what seems like hours. Could be hours. Could have been minutes. Doesn't really know. Just walks. Finally comes up to where it's an obvious road. It's an obvious road. Looks like it's very well maintained. It appears to be cobblestone. They haven't used cobblestone in decades, if not hundreds and hundreds of years. but it's well maintained. Perhaps I'll follow this to a town or someone will come by. Starts walking. Just kind of just meandering. Not really going anywhere. Realizing that it's been a very long time since he's had anything to eat. Kind of aimlessly staring around. I wouldn't go that way if I were you. What? He's right. I wouldn't go that way. Huh? Up here, boy, up here. Boy. What? In the tree? Yeah, in the tree. In the tree. He turns, looks. Hanging upside down from his knees. Rather striking looking male. Impeccable physical. He has multiple abs, doing crunches, hair tied up. He's had very long pointy ears, blonde haired. Below him, young man, appears to be about 35, 36 years old. Brown hair, beard. Who or what are you? What? That's rude. He's working out. Yeah, I can see that. What is he? You want to handle that one, Chief? I'm Aquinius Delanius, and you are I don't know. The man doing exercises pauses, looks down. You don't know? How do you don't know? You don't know. You don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Wait a minute. How do I... Oh, man. What is going on? With a rather flamboyant flip out of the tree. The Mr. Delanius lands. Do you always have to do that? Yes, I do. And why do you have to do that? Because it makes me look cool. To who? To everyone. But it's just us. Yeah, I know. And I look cooler than all of you. So, you don't know who you are. And you're in the middle of the forest. Those are some really nasty wounds you've got there. Yeah, I woke up in a cave. Yeah, that would probably explain those. Yeah, What do you mean? Yeah, those are just troll. Yeah. Troll? Troll. Yeah, troll. Those are troll. Been on the receiving end of them way too many times. That's troll. What do you mean troll? What? Where? What? Okay. Where on earth am I? Well, Earth, you're on the road. That's that particular patch of Earth, the dirt. It's right there. No. Earth. The planet. Oh. Gaia. No, Earth. Earth is the dirt, boy. You're on Gaia. Queenie, I don't think he's playing with a full deck. I don't think he's got a card in the deck. Alright. Come with us. You're going to go. You're too much of a danger to be out here. You think you want to put a shirt on? No. Alright. Well, whatever. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Alright. Whatever. So who are we going to take him to see? Well, there's two choices. We could take him to see Selfie or Itzy. That's it. Those are the two that are there. And of the two, who do you think's going to be less grouchy if we wake him up? Yeah, you got a good point there. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Alright, okay. So the three of them walk back, start heading up the cobblestone path. They're walking maybe half hour. The entire time, the one known as Aquinius Delanius introduces himself as an elf to our man with no name. And he says, of course you are. because he has no idea, and of course he doesn't believe him. They come to this town. Very, very nice. Walled in town. Portcullis opens. Welcome to hometown. Hometown. Yes, hometown. It's my home and it's my town. Hometown. Okay. Okay, yeah. Walks in. It's it's very dark. There's torches lit, hustle and bustle, people walking, guards walking. One main building that you cannot miss. One would think would be the town hall. Is the building that they're heading for. Walk up. The three walk up. Mr. Delanius opens the door. Welcome to my home. They walk in. He shuts the door behind them. It's a very lovely home. Countless years of adventuring. There's countless trophies all around. There are beautiful, beautiful pieces of art. All across the walls. The furniture arranged absolutely as if to welcome anyone who entered. Obviously not done by Mr. Delanius. Please, take a seat. Okay, I'm gonna... The large man that was with him, the one with the brown hair and the scruffy beard, takes him over to the couch, sets him down. And Mr. Delanius disappears up the stairs. So, you really don't know who you are? No, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. Where I'm at, who I am. I was a soldier. I remember my training. That's all I remember. Other than that, I don't know what's going on. Footsteps start echoing. From the steps, as there's appears to be more than one group of footprints coming down. One more light than the other. Mr. Delanius, Aquinius, if you want to call him that, appears to have put a shirt on. That's a nice one. Very fancy. White, gold trimmed. Very chic. Follow very close behind him. Appears to be a younger woman. Pointed ears like his. He thinks she must be into cosplay too. I don't know what it is, but okay. She's dressed very lovely. What's going on? There was a guy walking around in the forest. He says he doesn't know who he is. Yeah, but you brought him here. Well, yeah. It's not the first time I've done this. Yeah, that's good point. That's a very good point. You've done this before. So he's not a danger? No, he's not a danger. But, go take a look at this. Might want to go take a look at the wounds on him, though. The young lady walks over, examines him, and then she starts saying some weird words. And then this weird whitish green light starts emanating from her hands. She passes her hands over the wounds, and the wounds disappear. And as soon as that happens, our man with no name jumps over the couch. Okay, what the hell was that? What? No. What the hell was that? Who are you people? What's going on here? Somebody answer me. What's going on? Well, that was unexpected. I believe I could be a bit of a service here. As that voice kind of echoes through the room. And as that voice echoes through the room, both of the Delanius both of them collectively wince and shudder and tighten their fist at the same time. They've heard this voice multiple times before, and every single time they've heard this voice, nothing good has ever come of it. Nothing. Not one single thing has ever good come from hearing that man's voice. What do you want? Look, look, look. As the air itself seems to ripple, and a figure steps through. Look, I know you two don't like it when I show up, but look, it's kind of my fault that he's here. Explain kinda. Do you ever get bored? Okay. I'm getting my bow. Now, just listen. It wasn't on purpose. All right. So, I know you are all sort of familiar with the life or death, the life and death and reincarnation and back and forth cycles of these, of our worlds, right? Oh, yes, we've been through it many times. We understand. Yeah. We're listening. Well, they're not part of this world yet. They're not part of it yet. They're not due to be part of any of this till for a long time. Okay. And still have not explained what he's doing here. Well, I was playing around with the stars. And I just happened to accidentally flick his soul when he was going to go where he was supposed to be going. So just take him where he's supposed to be going. I can't do that. Why? Because he kind of traded places with that guy. What do you mean? Well, you don't see, he kind of sort of traded places with that guy's soul. And that guy doesn't want to come back. So, yeah, he's kind of stuck here. For now. Until I can kind of figure out what to do. So I was kind of wondering if you guys could kind of watch him for a little while. Okay, thanks, bye. And he steps into the swirly thing and disappears. Queenie, I swear, I'm going to. I know. I know. I know. Trust me. I know. I know he attended our wedding, and I regret inviting him every day. So anyway, sir, the gentleman that we in question is over standing in a corner, twitching. Uh, it, uh, uh, um, uh, it, uh, where did, where did, where did he go? Hopefully away. Yeah. Okay. But where? And how? And what did he mean? Treat. I think I need to lie down. Yeah, I really think I need to lie down. Yeah, I think he does too. Well, where should I take him? Take him to Itzy's house. He's got a spare bed. All right, yeah. I don't think Itzy would mind. All right. Come on. Let's go. Aquinius puts his arm up underneath of our buddy's arm, and they kind of walk / hobble their way out the door. This Itzy, is he's not like a spider or something, is he? No, he's not a spider. No. He's much, much worse. Oh, no. No, I'm just messing with you. Come on. They go over to this very rather plain looking home. This symbols of hammers all over the place, actually. He knocks on the door. Yeah. I'm coming. The door opens. Rather short individual. Kind of stout looking. Rotund is a good word. But solid. Has a mechanical arm. Beard down to his knees. Aye. What do you want, Queenie? Well, we We've got a problem, old friend. When do we not have a problem? That's a shorter answer. Get in here. What's going on? They walk in. Compared to Aquinius's house, Fritz's house is rather plain, actually, which one would expect from a holy man. There's an altar, a chair, a fireplace, a table, place to cook a meal. Stairs up what appears to be a second floor. It's rather plain. Nothing really of note. Why don't you ever spruce up the house? Why would I want to? It's more than I need. Anyway, we've got a problem. Yeah, that you said that. What is it? This gentleman here. He doesn't appear to be that much of a problem. Yet, that's the key word, yet. Well, you know our favorite troublemaking deity? Which one? That one. You know, the troublemaking one? Oh, that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, well, he messed up. Yeah, well, he messed up. This guy's not from here. Well, his soul's not. And he dumped him on us. He doesn't know who he is. Apparently he's from the dirt. Well, aren't we all? Yeah, that's... Somebody's been listening way too much to druids. Anyway. We were wondering, could you keep an eye on him while we try and figure something out? Hell yeah. I have nothing else to do. Good. You've got a spare room. Aye, up the stairs. I'd like to go lay down now. Aye, yeah, okay. What's your name? I don't know. That's an odd name. You're not helping, Itzy. I know. All right, then. I'll help you take him up. They take him up. They put him in the bed. Then they close the door. They come back down. I sit there. So what do you think? About what? About him? Well, I don't know. It doesn't seem like too much. Yeah. Do you think he's gonna be a problem? Nah. After everything we've been through? I don't think it's going to be much of a problem. Anyway, go on, Git. I'll take care of this for a while. You go spend time with the wife. All right, then, old friend. I'll see you later, then. And Aquinius heads back to his house. And with that, that will be the end of story time for this time. I only planned for story time to be about an hour long. And, well, as it goes for now, I may go a little bit longer, depending upon how things go. But, for now, it's only going to be about an hour long for now, maybe a little bit longer. Ooh. As I come up with new ideas and new things, they may be a little bit longer. Plus, when I'm going to get some more feedback from the players of Aquinius and It's a Fritz, and got to talk with them about a couple of ideas I have with them anyway. Now, on to the fun part. Feeling better about yourself through global domination. A supervillain's guide. Now, supervillainy. When you think of supervillains, what comes to mind? You know, when I think of a supervillain, you're supposed to instantly think of images of, like, Emperor Palpatine, Skeletor, Ming the Merciless. But see, these guys, they weren't super villains. They were overlords. They weren't supervillains. You're asking, okay, what's the difference between an overlord and a supervillain? Well, okay. It's how you go about doing things. Every single bad guy that you see in the movies, like Bond villains like Dr. No, Goldfinger, those are overlords. Because they keep making the same stupid mistakes over and over and over. You'd think somebody would sit these guys down and go, hey, moron, knock it off. But no, nobody's ever done it. Well, until now. That's me. I'm going to be the one to do it. I've decided that I'm going to sit these guys down. I'm going to teach them how to do this stuff. If nobody's going to do it, why not me? We're going to have a little fun with it. All right. Number one, first and foremost, before you do your whole Legion of Doom, your minions, before any of that, okay? Very simple. One of the most amazing things that can save you a lot of headache, heartache, and hassle as a supervillain is a simple ADT subscription. Real simple. And you're saying, but how can a simple ADT subscription stop me, a supervillain, from having a hard time? I mean, they report to all these organizations. Oh, yes, they do. That's true. But you see, here's the beauty behind it. ADT subscription. Yes, it's going to cost you between $45 and $75 a month, depending upon what subscription plan you get. Let's say you are in your Tower of Terror. You're minding your business, working on your nefarious plans. You haven't done anything yet, but you're still working on your nefarious plans. And the local good guy decides that they're going to infiltrate your Tower of Terror and put a stop to you before anything happens, as they like to do. Okay. Now, you stop you stop this person, you put them to their demise, and you go on about your business. Okay. You're viewed as a bad guy. Boom, boom, boom. Other villains are like, yeah, awesome. But you still get, then you get more bigger baddies. The more bigger good guys coming to bug you. Same situation, ADT. They break into your domicile. ADT alarm goes off. ADT contacts you. Says, sir and or madam, we have noticed that you have a break-in at your domicile. Would you like us to contact the authorities? Why, yes. Yes, I would. Would you please do so? They contact the authorities. Boom. There is on record that you are being attacked. You have had a break-in. Okay? There's a break-in. Now, should you capture said person and something happens to where they meet their demise, then it's I was defending myself. Plausible deniability. Boom, boom, boom. Plus, also, grand scheme of things, if you really think about it, even if you do absolutely nothing and you haven't done anything yet, you're just sitting there plotting. You haven't done anything yet. The police show up. It's going to be really, really difficult for the good guy to stop all of your nefarious deeds when they are on their way to jail for breaking and entering. Like I said, $45 to $75 a month, simple ADT subscription can save you a lot of headache, heartache, and hassle as a supervillain. That's just one thing. But no, they always got to go about it the hard way. Now, next item. In everything I've seen, everything I've read, everything, every single one of these overlords, all of their Legion of Dooms have had everything focused on the head or face, especially the face of their Legion of Doom. So much so that the face of the Legion of Doom is covered, allowing for easy infiltration by the good guy. Now, if it were me, and I were to be the one designing a helmet for my Legion of Terror or Legion of Doom, they would be made of clear plexiglass visors across the face, and it would be the chest area that housed all of the wicked looking designs. One, more area, more surface area, and two, if done correctly, more intimidating. It just makes more sense that way. Clear plexiglass visors, people can see the face. Yeah, I get it. It's supposed to be the whole nameless, faceless, organization type thing. I get that. But we're not going to be... If you want to be a supervillain, you're not worried about branding. Your branding should be, second. What your big thing should be. Do what I say now. Boom. Move on to the next thing. All right, next thing. Next supervillain rule. In my Tower of Terror, or whatever I'm going to have, if I build one, the ventilation ducts will be too small to crawl through. Okay? Way too many of those things. I have seen way too many of those things being used in movies. You know, it's always, you always see it in the movies. They're driving. You get these people just kind of crawling through these ducts. They're always making all kinds of noise. Usually, there's somebody arguing through it. When in fact, you know, the Legion of Terror, when they hear something like that, their first response should be, you know, riddle this thing full of bullets and then move on. But, you know, that's just one of my thoughts on that. But, and, inside of that, well, what if they, I know you're asking, well, what if they pay children to do that? What if they pay a child to go down through there? That's easy, okay? That's part of the next rule, okay? The next rule is you endure yourself to the local populace. See? That's the thing. It's going to be really, really difficult for them to gain traction, for the good guys to gain traction with, he's an evil overlord, they're bad, blah, 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 blah. If you have taken care of the people surrounding you. Yeah, it may cost you a few dollars, but, endure yourself to the local populace around you. Don't do something ignorant, like during a time of strife, hold opulent feasts and stuff inside your tower and watch everyone else starve. No, you don't do stuff like that. You do everything you can to further the development of the farmlands around your area, as well as see to it that the local orphanages and things of that nature are taken care of. You can always use them as a patsy later on. Thinking ahead. Always think ahead. Next supervillain rule. If you have usurped the throne of your noble half brother, okay? If you have usurped the throne of your noble half brother, all right? Immediately do away with him. Do not keep them anonymously imprisoned in a forgotten cell in a dungeon. Stop doing this. Okay? Stop. It is dumb. They're going to use it against you. Every time. Not just once or twice. Every single time this happens, they're going to use it against you. They're going to dig up this stuff. They're going to find your usurped half-brother hiding in this dungeon and use it against you. Just do away with it. Do away with him. Put him in a nice grave. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be a half, like a hole somewhere off in, the middle of nowhere. Be nice about it, make it a nice grave, give him a good headstone, be at least halfway decent about it. But, get rid of them. All right? Which leads me into the next rule. Shooting is not too good for your enemies. Okay? Just boom. Done. Just be done with it. Okay? Just boom. Done. Be done with it. Move on. You don't have to sit there and drag stuff out. All right? All right? Another thing. Now, here's the other thing for you super villains out there who are, who draw their things from supernatural, from the supernatural. Okay? The artifact, which is the source of your power, okay, should not be kept on the mountain of despair beyond the river of fire, guarded by the dragon of eternity. Keep it in a safe deposit box. Okay? The same thing applies to the object, which is your one weakness. Just keep it in the safe deposit box. Okay? Because the mountain of despair, river of fire, dragon of eternity. Everybody and their dog knows where that is. Everybody and their dog can go in there. Safe deposit box. In your safe deposit box. Okay? Nobody's going to think of that. Nobody's going to really want to do that. They're not. They're not going to think that, he's going to keep it in a safe deposit box at Wells Fargo. They're not going to think of that. It's going to slip their mind. They're just going to be like, what? Always just always be prepared to do the unexpected. Don't get into that pattern. If you're going to be a super villain, be a super villain. Don't be a half-assed villain. Just don't. Don't just be halfway. If you're going to do it all. Don't be an overlord. Be a super villain. All right? Next one. Stop gloating over your enemies. Just get on with it. All right? Just get on with it. Stop gloating over them. Standing around gloating over your enemies is giving somebody else time to come up behind you and destroy you. Get on with it and move on with your day. Alright? That's pretty much the best thing I can tell you. That's one of the biggest ones right there. The biggest downfall to every single last one I've ever seen, heard, read, everything like that, is stop gloating over your enemy's predicament. Just okay. Another thing, do not outsource core functions. Okay? Something that happens that's a core function to the thing that's going on, do not outsource it. Because if you outsource it to, say, Bob's Construction Company, that's something that somebody can go and get and figure out a way to destroy your Tower of Terror. Do it yourself with your own minions. Okay? Real simple. Don't outsource. Yes, I understand maybe outsourcing, bringing in money, but don't do it to core functions. Things that are, the center of what you're doing. Do not outsource stuff. The main computer programming to your doomsday weapon should not be done, by Steve. Might want to do that yourself. Okay, just thoughts. Okay. Another thing, when you capture your main adversary and they look at you and say, before you destroy me, will you at least tell me what this whole thing is about? Destroy them and then say no. That's simple. Okay? Just boom, no. You get too many supervillains, too many overlords have gotten into trouble by blah 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 blah, what I call diarrhea of the mouth. They'll sit there and ramble on for half an hour on telling these guys exactly how they outsmarted them, while they're sitting there untying their bonds, walking over there, handcuffing them to something, lighting them on fire. It's like, dude, just, again, get on with it. Just boom, move on. Yeah. Okay, another thing. To you supervillains, okay? Now, I don't condone this, all right? But this is just one of those for your information. For you supervillains that are out there, you kidnap the beautiful princess, marry them immediately in a quiet civil ceremony. Not in a lavish spectacle in 3 weeks' time, during which the final phase of your plan will be carried out. It never works. It never works out. Okay? Ever. Ever, 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 ever. Never in the ever history of ever has it ever worked out. just get on with it. Okay? You know, if you're going to kidnap the princess, just marry her, get it done, and move on. You know, don't try and make a big spectacle out of it. The spectacle is going to be carrying out your plan. That's the spectacle. That's the thing. I am a supervillain. This is what I do. Boom, boom, boom. Mwahaha. It is not, look what I think I can do. I might do this. I might rule the world. No, I'm going to rule the world, and this is how I'm doing it. By doing it. See? You know? Okay, here's the other thing. One of the big things, okay? In your Tower of Terror, do not include a self-destruct mechanism unless absolutely necessary. If it is necessary, do not make it a large red button labeled danger, do not push. That button should instead be labeled, the do not push button should instead spray a bullet, a huge spray of bullets on anyone stupid enough to disregard that message. Similarly, the on and off switch should not clearly be labeled as such. Okay? Instead, you should have that the self destruct should be, like in, panel 6, subsection 9 of some middle of the road thing in the back room of your closet somewhere. You should only self-destruct when absolutely last-ditch necessary. You are a supervillain. Act like it. Okay? Another thing. Supervillain. Do not interrogate your enemies in your inner sanctum. Okay? Stop doing this. A Motel 6 outside the borders of your domiciles, just fine. Works just fine. Honestly, it'll work just as well. Hell, they probably wouldn't even notice. They might be grateful for the money. Dude, stop interrogating people in your room. Stop. You're asking for trouble. Especially if they are of the opposite gender and happen to be rather wonderfully looking. You know what's going to happen. Stop it. Again, you're supposed to be a super villain. You got to start acting like that. Another thing. If any advisor looks at you and says, My liege, he is but one man. What can one man possibly do? You reply this and promptly dispose of him. There's too many times has that happened where, one man, one woman, one person has gone in and completely and totally screwed everything up for everyone. And if anyone is arrogant enough to believe that, that can't happen, they'll never do that, that can't happen, they don't deserve to be an advisor. Honestly, they don't. Yep. Another thing. When you are instructing your fashion designers, okay, and I would recommend you get a fashion designer, because some of you, oh my God, but, when you're instructing your fashion designer, when it comes to accessorizing your evil overlord presence, second chance body armor does in fact go well with everything. Okay? And if they say no it doesn't, you fire them out of a cannon. Okay? Is they second chance body armor does in fact go with everything. And I mean everything. Even nightwear. This is one of my favorite ones. I've seen this happen far too many times. And it's one of those ones that irks me every time I see it. It drives me up a wall. And I want them to quit doing it. I want them to quit writing it. But if you are fighting with a hero atop a moving platform and have happened to have disarmed him or her, and you are about to finish them off, and they glance behind you and then drop flat too. Don't just quizzically look behind you. Okay? Because you know what's going to happen. You're going to get a face full of Wile E. Coyote, okay? There's a lot of really good ones. One of the other good ones I've noticed, and this one's a really good one. Do not have captives of one gender guard members of the opposite gender. causes too many troubles. Okay? It's just it just causes way too many troubles. Can get you into huge liability issues. Honestly, it can. I mean, let's say you are trying to be an evil overlord. That's true. You're trying to be an evil overlord, and you're trying to take over the world. But you're also, I mean, you don't want to cause trouble with your subordinates later on. You know, you don't. You're a monster, but you don't want to be a monster. You understand? You know, there's just certain rules. There's just certain lines you just don't cross. Okay? Alright. Okay. And speaking of that, and this will be the last one for before I close this podcast out. The last one for the day. If you're going to be an evil supervillain, make sure your Legion of Terror is an equal opportunity employer. Okay? Conversely, when it is prophesied that, you know, that no man can defeat one thing or something like that, keep in mind that there is an increasing number of non-traditional gender roles. Okay? Just keep that in mind. When you're sending out your Legion of Terror out there and you're trying to take over the world and you run into these things and there are these prophecies that are saying that, you know, no man can destroy me, all these, you're taking on these ancient curses and stuff like that. Be sure you have the non-traditional gender roles. You know, more and more you're finding that. Be sure to remember to keep that into your Legion of Terror. All right? We will continue this on Friday. And hopefully I will have some more fun stuff for you folks. Now, we may go a little bit longer. We might stick at about 3 hours. I'm thinking about 3 hours is about good. You know, about an hour for about an hour for my 2 cents, about an hour for story time, and about an hour for feeling better about yourself through Global Domination. And but we may go a little bit longer depending upon how things are going and how I feel that day. I'm planning on doing this stuff on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But that may change. On top of that, the format may change as well. It may be all supervillain, it may be all story time, and it may all be just my 2 cents. We don't know. It just may depend upon what's going on. I also may have some special guests. I know that one of my old friends has an interest in coming on, and we wanted to talk about a few things. So that may be coming on. We don't know. Also, we may be having some interesting things going on with the school and stuff like that. So we may have to miss out on 1 or 2 days, but I will be back on the next scheduled one after that. So definitely on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, okay? I hope to keep going with this, and I hope to at least make somebody laugh. if nothing else, I'm doing this for myself. Okay? Well, it was nice hanging out and just having a little bit of fun. Anyway, have a good night, and I will see you guys on Friday. And peace out.